All right, welcome everybody. Another edition of the Crave. Favorite time of year. It is March, and with March brings the madness of March. So last year we did our first annual Outdoor Madness bracket, which we paired a lot of different species of animals, both hunting, both fishing, in the fishing world and the hunting world, and we basically came to a winner. In both hunting and fishing, we looked at all different types of species, and we're like, hey, let's put this in a bracket. What's the best species to hunt? What's the best species to fish? And we came out on the fishing side. It was a bit controversial. Trout was America's fish, beating out some pretty heavy hitters like salmon and steelhead, walleye. Some of the other big market fish out there. And on the hunting side, I believe it was elk. Bow hunting elk was the big one. So this year we're going to do things a little bit different. We didn't want to do the same thing again. So we got a pretty cool bracket set for you guys. It's 16 teams, 16 personalities, and we're going to get to the details on that. But first, I want to introduce everybody, the Crave crew, the tripod, if you will, of the outdoor.
Present.
Of the outdoor group. So we got Nate Bailey, John Eastburn, Jake Siegel with you. So we're going to jump into it. So Outdoor Madness this year, again, so last year we did our first Outdoor Madness bracket. So everybody knows March, we have the big basketball tournament. We have 64 teams. Everybody's competing. I mean, it seems to get bigger every year. There's play-in games. It's just a huge moneymaker. Lots of upsets. Last year we did, as I mentioned before, we did something on, that I believe has never been done before, and that was a bracket with the outdoors. So we had a fishing and hunting bracket that we did. So, basically, we broke down what's the best species to hunt and what's the best species to fish, and it came out trout was the winner on the fishing side, just because it's plethora of players that it brought to the table, and waterways and ways you could fish it, and times a year you could fish, and there was some controversy. We heard from some people that we have had on the podcast, the Geshes, namely, had some major issues with it.
I think he had night terrors over the outcome.
He did.
Over that.
Very upset.
He woke up yelling, "Steelhead!"
Yeah.
And on the hunting side, our winner was bow hunting elk, which gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to bring that down. But this year we want to do something a little bit different. So what we did is, and we thought about this, Nate, I think you actually brought this up. We thought it'd be kind of cool to look at the landscape of personalities that there is in outdoor television and outdoor media, whether it's podcast, television, radio, whatever the case may be, videos. And why don't we put them against each other, since, it's competition is there's no shortage of competition in this industry for sure. So we have come up with, and there was a lot of personalities to choose from, a lot. So some people are going to be left out that definitely could have been on this board. And if you guys like what you see and you want us to do another 16 personality bracket, we can do that, because there's plenty of folks out there. But we picked some of kind of the more mainstream personalities that are in the outdoor channel, on the Outdoor Channel or Sportsman's Channel, and some of the other outlets out there.
Yep.
And some of the folks that have been doing it a really long time, big personalities, have really made an impact on our sports. And we put them in a bracket of 16. We seeded them, so we actually ranked them from 1 to 16, and we want to see how they will fare in a bracket paired against each other. And let's talk just briefly about how we're going to debate the bracket. So if you guys want to just kind of chime in here, we're looking at value, right? Like, one of the things we talked about before we turned the mics on was, how this person has impacted the industry, right? Outdoor industry, whether it be, now we're going to do hunting specific this time. We might do another one with just fishing personality, but this is going to be hunting. And we're going to talk about, one thing is, how has that person impacted the industry? And what are some of the other things that we're going to talk about?
Well, the entertainment value too. How well liked they are, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether or not who we like or enjoy watching or viewing their content more so than whoever
Right?
they're up against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
going to get brutal. We're not pulling any punches here.
Exactly. Everything's going to get taken into consideration. Facebook likes, Instagram following, you know, the frequency of posts on all of those, and then final
The amount of product plugs
product
within a
plug.
show.
Some of it can be pretty shameless at times. You know, the photography, the videography. It's all going to come into play
Exactly.
for sure.
So we're going to jump in because we want to discuss everybody. And so first of all, let's introduce the participants in the bracket of 16. I'll start it off and then we'll just kind of go down. Nate, you follow me. We'll go counterclockwise. So number 1 seed in the 2018 Outdoor Madness Personalities version is none other than Shocky. Jimmy Shocky. I don't know how many people you think call him Jimmy. Jimmy Shocky. Probably none.
Yeah, I was thinking 0.
That was Jimmy. I thought it was Jimothy.
Or do the Canadians say Z or 0?
Jimothy
Shocky.
Shocky.
Yeah, I'm learning every day. I mean, I'm just Jim.
Okay, so number 1 overall seed is
Jimbo.
Jim Shocky. So we'll get into as we go through the bracket, why we seeded him where he is. But so number 1 is Jim Shocky. So who's number 2? Right side of the bracket, Nate. So and before, if you guys are listening, we do a video version of our podcast, and sometimes it's just us sitting around a table talking, and let's face it, there's not a whole lot to take in as far as visually, especially if it's just us. But this one, if you want some visual effect to what we're doing, we actually built out the bracket. We're looking at a whiteboard, so as we go through it, we're going to move people on into the next rounds. And if you guys want to follow along, check us out on the YouTube channel. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
Sure.
So,
Okay,
so number 2.
Number 2 on the that'd be West versus East. East side. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
We'll call it the east side.
East. East side.
Oh, it's me then. All right. So number 2, we've got Will Primos. Everybody should know him from,
Yep.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He needs no introduction for the most part.
Right.
Nope.
Exactly.
No. Number 3, we on the right side of the bracket, we have Eva Shocky.
And we just represented her on the bracket as Eva. She's the only one on the bracket that actually only has one name, and probably rightfully so. Only needs one name. So Eva's our number 3 seed after Will Primos. Number 4 seed is everybody's jolly old bone collector out there, Michael Waddell.
Tough competitor there.
Yeah, strong number 4 seed. Probably the only like this. Waddell would have been a 1 seed
If he had better English.
That too.
Probably.
That too. And then there's the accusations, but I just think a few years ago he probably would have been a number 1 seed. But
Yep.
he's anyway. We'll get into that later. But so he's number 4 seed. So 5. Where we at?
Got the
5.
juries at 5 seed.
Mark and Terry. Yep. We coupled them up.
6 on the Eastern bracket, Heartland Bowhunters, the whole crew.
Mike and Sean.
But I think Mike and Sean are going to be the big hitters here. Yeah, Mike, Sean,
You
and
think
company.
they're underseeded as a 6?
They might be. They would say so for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah,
they would.
absolutely, for sure.
They're taking issue already.
Yeah, yeah.
They're building on that already huge chip on the shoulder. So, all right. So number 7, the Mr. and Mrs. The let's see, what's the categorization I'm looking for him and her? Like the king and queen of outdoor television, Lien Tiffany, number 7 seed.
Then with number 8, we've got Teresa Vale from the Limitless show.
Yep.
Number 9, Feel the Force, Jim Burnworth.
Jim, there's no S in my last name, Burnworth, which I found out. Okay, so number 10, the Motor City Madman, sweaty Uncle Ted Nugent.
And then coming in at 11, we've got Mr. Super Slam, Tom Miranda.
Yeah.
And another couple who would consider themselves at the the epicenter of the power couple, Ralph and Vicky.
Power couple is what I was looking for.
Ralph and Vicky. No, I cannot.
Son of a gun, and I didn't change. So I apologize if you're looking, Vicky. I know you're watching intently. I spelled your last name wrong, or your first name wrong. It's there's a C in there. I gotta fix it. That's pet peeve.
Oh.
Pet peeve of mine.
Yep.
That's a
little,
CK, right?
The only OCD
Correct.
section of the show you guys will see.
Yeah.
Jake Siegel.
Look at how perfect those lines are.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 13, we have Guy Eastman from Eastman's Hunting Journal.
And then at 14, we've got Stan Potts.
Who?
Stanley Potts.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan Potts. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got it.
Also misspelled.
Nope. Perfect.
2 T's?
2 T's.
Oh,
It's not Stan
jeez.
Potes. Son of a gun.
That's okay. That's okay.
There, boom.
No games have been played yet. 15.
Obviously, the Crave with our production value did not make the list.
Hey, we stepped it up from the
Hey, dude, it's fine. It's
board
fine.
we had last
It's fine.
year.
15. We
That's true.
keep hammering. Cam Haynes.
16. So our final participant in the 2018 Outdoor Madness bracket and won the play-in game, Tom Aloysius Nelson.
Oh man, Tom's
American
at home
Archer.
Right, Tom's
Yeah.
at home right now. He was screaming his name. Why aren't I on this
I know. He's
bracket?
like, how did I not make the cut?
You're there, Tom. Don't worry.
Actually, he was like, how did I not make the cut?
You're there, buddy. You're there.
Tommy made it in. You got a hell of a first-round matchup.
It's going to be
Alrighty.
rough.
All right, those are our players.
All right,
Gonna
so we
be
got the bracket
interesting.
filled out. So 1 through 16, we're going to go through. We're going to analyze each matchup. We're going to move them on and find out who is going to win the hunting version, the hunting setup here of the Outdoor Madness bracket. So first matchup, number 1, Jim Shocky taking on the Scrappy Tom Nelson.
Scrappy
Tom
Tom
Nelson.
Nelson. Oh, geez. Thomas had a hell of a year. I mean, he has put a lot of hunts together that, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think they would come together. You know, there you are, sitting in your blind, 4 days of hunting due to the magical world of editing, compressed into 20 minutes. And here comes Mr. Tom Turkey, or here comes Mr. Deer. And then Tom there with his, his private label bow is able to get it done. He's done a hell of a job for the tools he's had.
Yeah.
Boy,
He's had a lot of tools, too.
I think this is going to
The
be.
man likes product reviews.
Yeah, I think he does. He does, which is not necessarily a good thing in the outdoor madness.
Let's talk about what put Tom on the board. People dig his product reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about product reviews, and the shitty thing about product reviews in outdoor television is the fact that, have you guys ever heard a product review where there was any type of negative slant to a product that they're reviewing?
Very rarely.
No, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. So if you're going to do a product review heavy show like Tom does, I need to know as a, borderline millennial, I want to know the negatives. I'm going to do my research. So don't tell me all, everything that I can read off of the manufacturer's website. I want to, so
Mm-hmm.
he's going up against a Goliath. This is tough.
He is.
He's going up against the Shocky family, but namely Jim, the patriarch.
Mm-hmm.
So 16 is going against a 1. Jim Shocky. So we're looking at, let's see, the shows. So man, the tough thing with Jim, he's got Jim Shocky's Hunting Adventures, and he's got a show called Uncharted,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty groundbreaking, if I must say so.
Agreed.
We've all mentioned on the show that we've kind of, we have been fortunate enough to be in working in the outdoor industry for several years, and we've had the pleasure to meet a lot of these folks and everything. It's rare that we run across a television show that actually engages us, just because once you live something, you tend to kind of, when you come home from work, like the last
Yeah.
thing I want to do is watch a hunting show necessarily. But Uncharted was amazing. I mean, it's the cinematography. I know his son Braylon's involved pretty heavily in that. It's awesome. I mean, I'd say this to Jim. I would. I'd say if
Kiss
there's, I would probably kiss him first, but
Sounds like it.
I'd need to. Here's the thing. I would say if there's, this is a lot like Seinfeld. Okay. I would say Jim Shocky's show is a lot like Seinfeld. The weakest, I hope Jim still likes me for this. I'd say the weakest part of Uncharted sometimes is Jim. That's tough. Tough for me to say. But the show is phenomenal. Yeah. You guys want to comment? Or you guys are a bunch of pussies.
Nope, you're good.
Where are you coming from here? Just like
Wait a
as
second.
far as his entertainment value and watchability? Or
No, I think what you're saying is the videography aspect of it, the places that it takes you to, the different corners of the earth. You know, it's I think it's really well produced. You know, and it's, you know, I don't think Jim is, nor he wants to be like some kind of great actor. You know, he's just himself. So I get what Siegel is saying there a little bit, albeit, you know, potentially the worst thing, you know, aspect of that show would still be, you know, layers of, you know, higher than other shows in comparison, you know, comparing apples to apples.
And now that you say that, I actually respect the fact that maybe Jim is like, this is so next level, Jim. This is so Jim. He knows that the production of the show is so good that he does not, to your point, does not want to detract from it. So he's like, hey, I'm just going to step back. I'm just going to kind of, take you through the journey as I can with minimal impact. So regardless,
let the show tell the story, not
exactly. It's a
directly
phenomenal
from you.
show. Jim's been doing it for a really long time. The cool thing, I mean, he's a guide, and you know, so his offering to the outdoor world is I mean, it's pretty big. I mean, it's full. He's got a great product on TV. He's a guide. He's taken us to different places of the world and hunted different things and shown us different cultures that other people haven't. So, how do you guys see this game playing out?
Nate, what do you
Well,
think?
Old Tom Nelson, he's going to take a a lot of shots. That's for sure.
He's a gunner. He's a gunner.
He's a
He is
volume.
a gunner.
He's a volume shooter.
He's a Jimmy. Who was the dude from like Rhode Island a few years ago? Jimmy.
Wasn't Vetter?
Oh
yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy Vidette? Jimmy
Jimmer
Fredette.
Jimmer.
Yeah.
Yep,
Never
there it
saw a
is.
shot he didn't like.
Yeah,
Nope.
exactly.
Much like Tom.
Yeah.
Love that kind of play.
I think Jimmer was a little more accurate though sometimes.
That's true.
Does have some. He's had some questionable.
Yeah.
Well, we all have, I guess, but.
So this game was probably close before the tip-off.
Yeah, well, I think
towards halftime.
I think
it's still close.
Jay Billis had a hard time building a case for Tom Nelson. But
I think like a lot of Cinderella type stories. I think Tom hung with Jim for like 5 minutes. It was like, oh my God, what's happening here? You know, Shocky can't make a shot, but you know, Nelson is man, he's making those 3-4 footers, and then all of a sudden, you know, Shocky goes into his zone and Tom can't hit squat.
Jim would take those easy layups.
Blow out.
He'd just whip his Crossman air rifle out.
Blowout.
Catch some of them small games.
he shoots things with an air rifle.
Yeah.
Large animals. So yeah, I agree. I feel like this is a matchup where Tom gets out. It's like
Shocky by 22.
8-2, and people are like, oh, you know, we're seeing a little life out of Tom Nelson, and you know,
Shocky by 20, but only because they took off the press at like third quarter.
he took off the cowboy hat and set it on the bench and said, we're done.
I don't take no guff.
No guff.
No
guff. Guff is
all right. Shocky moves
on.
on.
So Shocky moves on. Really, not a whole lot of tension in that game. I'm just gonna go Shocky. All right. Next up, take us through it, Johnny. We got a 2:15 matchup: Will Primos and Cam Haines.
All right.
They're probably about
2
the
seed.
same height.
Will Primos versus 15 seed Cam Haines.
Some say probably the biggest missed seed.
Yeah, you know, he definitely could be a dark horse there. You know, Cam really doesn't have as far as consistency goes, is his own, hunting show. Albeit
But he did.
Albeit he does. He did a lot of stuff with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Will, vice versa, been a solid competitor from the South in the industry a long time. Will, contrary to popular belief, does speak the language of not only animals but also the round ball ruckus basketball. So we have some things that are going to play against Will in this game, albeit he's a 2 seed, is his age.
Yeah.
I think
people have kind of figured him out.
Yeah, people have figured him out.
Much like his show, a bit repetitive.
Yeah,
a little bit.
He's lost a step.
He has lost his step.
He's past his prime a little bit.
Yes.
Oh man,
he's relying a little bit too much on his, his step back three. It's just people are catching up to it. So
he's not much fast break game left for him either.
Yeah, yeah. Albeit, what Cam has going for him is the social aspect. I mean, I think he may have the highest following on Instagram out of all these competitors due to his stances on.
Whoa! That's completely incorrect. Do you see Eva Shocky's on this board?
I see Eva, but Cam's up there quite a ways.
Just let's pull it up while you're talking.
All right,
No, go ahead. Just continue.
Fact check.
I can't.
I'll just continue with this. We'll look
one
it
other
up.
thing Cam does have going for him in terms of impact to the industry, though, is
Biceps.
he's been pretty active the last couple of years, and as far as visiting folks in Washington and
Sure.
fighting the good fight for the hunting industry with policymakers.
And Will, they've kind of dialed it back. I mean, the Truth series. I mean, that was huge, like 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But it's really kind of.
I feel like Will Primos is a classic example of a leverage, strength overplayed becomes a weakness, and Will, for all of his greatness, in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, just kind of got to your point, John. I mean, like we saw it, we get it. You make the Truth series, you make, you do elk hunting and you do turkey calls, and like that's it. So I feel like I feel like we may already early in the bracket may have an upset here. I mean, Will is seasoned, very seasoned. He's got the salt and pepper beard, which is very, very strong. Although Cam is catching up with him pretty quick, I think.
Yeah.
But Cam's persistence in again the social media game, and what he does with conservation and health, working out, that sort of thing. I think I don't know about you guys, but I think we see our first upset pretty early in the tournament here.
If we're talking impact today, not over a lifetime of achievements.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should talk about that real quick, because
then we may have. But
every year's a tournament.
Yeah.
Hey,
this is a buzzer beater. This feels like a buzzer
game
beater.
every
well,
year.
that's just what I wanted to point out. If we're gonna have an upset, it's not about.
Yeah, this is just a 1 year.
Okay, so
overall.
how is Will? So what has Will done to impact the industry? He's made an incredible on the marketing side. He's mastered how to sell a call, right? From Hoochie Mama to I don't know.
Freaking Hoochie Mama.
Hoochie Mama is carrying him into the 2 seed, right?
He's out.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pioneer in game calls in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was
And he
one of the
made his
first
own
ones to
calls.
start doing that.
For a while.
Yeah.
There's been some chatter on maybe that he's borrowed and sampled some of the designs out there from some other folks.
Yeah, he's for his
much like
age.
Arizona's coach is paying $100,000 to their player. Maybe Will's doing some same.
Maybe.
Yeah. could
Albeit
be.
Will's been in the game for so long. He reminds me of he's the John Stockton guard-esque type player in the industry.
I almost feel like he's almost a coach at this point. He's a Jim Boeheim 2-3 zone.
Yeah.
He's like I've invented the 2-3 zone, and I'm going to play this, and nobody else is going to do it because I do it so well.
Old school. Like he would not have started Pistol Pete. Like, no, we are doing the give and go. No behind the back.
I don't care if
crap.
you average 40 a game
Yeah,
in college
it doesn't matter.
without a 3-point line.
Yeah, no
Guy was
backdoor.
phenomenal.
Just straight up basketball. Will kind of became his own before the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? Before the 3-point line, indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed. So, so
it's a tough one.
to Jake's dispute here, he had brought up something. Okay, so Cam Haynes, 462,000 Instagram followers.
It's a good pull.
Eva Shocky, 455.
Ooh,
Both
it's a tight race.
huge numbers.
Wow.
Huge.
Well, we
So
could be some foreshadowing.
yeah, I think that's gonna it's gonna play a big factor down the line in the tournament. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say Cam Haynes probably wins this one. What do you
think
think
so.
of the game though? Like, you think it's I think it's close because of the the varsity type play that Primos brings to the table, seasoned.
Yeah.
But I think
Well,
Cam,
I think Cam takes
Cam
it just
takes
in
the,
terms of, you've got those fans every year that don't watch a minute of regular season ball, and then the postseason comes along and they're rooting for the underdog, even though they're not familiar with the program necessarily.
Yeah.
Although Cam's kind of like the mold breaker in that front because he has such a huge following outside of the outdoor industry as well.
He does.
And
How
so
many followers
he's going to get a lot of
400,000.
462. Cam Haynes, Eva Shocky, 455.
Dude, that's crazy. Cam, my apologies. We are not worthy. Really, I
Yeah.
did not think that was
Yeah.
even close. But okay.
The other factor here is a hometown homer, since
Yeah.
Cam is from this area.
He's
Same-
going to get
same
some home
place
calls.
we're
Yeah, he
in.
totally is going to get some home calls.
Yeah, so
It's
he's
it's
getting the benefit of the doubt
what's crazy is that
from the referee standpoint.
if you combine Eva and Cam's numbers socially, they almost catch up to us.
Almost.
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 Almost to the Craves.
Jeez.
Okay, so
Close.
we have our first upset. Are you guys in agreement that
Yep.
Cam's going to edge Will in a crossover step back James Harden type finish?
I think, but the crazy thing is Cam won this game, but I don't think he played to his potential.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I really
I
don't.
think he won getting hacked the last
I think-
minute and a half,
yeah.
and he won it from the foul line.
Well, that's pretty boring.
Real spark plug.
Okay,
All
cool, man. We got a first upset.
Cam moves on.
So I think we see our first superpower take a fall. Tennessee women's Tennessee Volunteers
Ooh.
type
Mm,
taking a dive.
could be or
All right.
Virginia
I
USMBC,
talked about that. Yeah, that stunk.
who 99% of the people don't even know what those letters stand for. But
Yep, I can't even think of it now.
Ooh.
Even
Maryland at
Mm.
Baltimore County, I think.
yeah, they're in Baltimore,
Yes,
which we found out.
sounds right.
Okay, so let's move on to our 3 matchup, which is Eva Shocky versus number 14 Stanley Potts with 2 T's. Man, this is a real changing of the guard. There's so much going on with this right here.
There's a lot of controversy in this matchup.
Is there?
Well, a lot of people
You have
are.
2 trains of thought,
well,
right?
a lot of
Two
people
schools.
are, statisticians are wondering how Stan made it to the final bracket. But that being said, it's going
American
to be
Conference champion.
it's going to be definitely an uphill battle here. It's going to be a tough game for Stan. He's going to have to bring everything he has on D to stop Eva.
I'm a little bit worried about Stan's stamina, though. Seems to have a little bit of an issue with
He's primarily a tree
breathing-
stand hunter at this point.
breathing techniques and has a little bit of trouble maintaining his composure and excitement in
Nate-
big moments.
If you wouldn't mind taking us through a Stan Potts, the first 4 seconds after Stan Potts releases an arrow. Go.
guys, got to give me a minute here.
We got all the time in the world, Stan. It's your show.
All right, cameraman, high five. Way up there,
Poor Stan.
guys.
Poor Stan.
So this is a real changing of the guard. I feel like, like we have in with the new, like in all aspects, right? So we have a guy who, let's give Stan Potts his due. From a whitetail hunting standpoint, like he was one of the founding fathers of whitetail hunting, right? I mean, the cool thing with Stan was the fact that I feel like you got a little more education with his shows as you like, because if there's one pet peeve that I have, and I think we all share this around the table, is you watch a show and you're like, all I really got from that was a couple of impact shots and recoveries and high fives. I didn't really learn anything. Stan was like one of the first people to like really bring whitetail techniques to the forefront. So he talked a lot about the different times of the rut, preseason, and all that sort of thing. So that was really great. The unfortunate thing with Stan is, I think time kind of just caught up with him, and
his game's a little one-dimensional.
Right, he got a little one-dimensional.
And his mustache,
and the mustache got bushier and whiter, and
a lot of editing,
right,
a lot of post editing,
right, and there always had to be 2 cameras on him for obvious reasons. So and now you have Eva at number 3, which you have like the complete next level, right, of outdoor personality. You have a woman who knows her stuff, who is not shy about talking about conservation. She, made her mark in many different arenas of types of hunting, from, bear hunting with her dad in Canada, spot and stalk, to, whitetail and everything else. So, like, this is tough. Like, I feel like Eva is our Kentucky, right? You have a team of just phenomenal freshmen that you're like, how do we, like, they haven't been playing together for very long, but the talent is off the charts.
Yep.
And
again, a similar matchup is 3 of 15, though, if we're talking about impact to the industry today.
Right.
Versus lifetime achievement.
Right.
It's a vastly different conversation.
Right. No, yeah, totally. So, Eva, I mean, from her social game to just what she's doing for women in the sport.
Yep.
Dude, you can't.
Well, an ambassadorship of the sport in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's been on national news publications and all kinds of platforms outside of the, and reaching millions of people outside the outdoor industry and promoting our sport. So.
Yeah, no brainer. Sorry, Stan.
Stan, you're gonna have to
quite shoot well enough from the 3-point line.
You're gonna
field goal percentage.
Stan's gonna continue to stay up in his tree stand and watch the rest of the tournament from 15 feet in the air. So
he's got plenty of venison jerky to hold him out.
Yeah, he does. Pretty spot on, though, Nate. Good job. All right. So that was 314. We're going to go back to the other side. So we're going to go to the west side of the bracket. We have an interesting matchup.
Michael Waddell, number 4 seed, versus 13 seed sleeper Guy Eastman.
Why don't you take this one, John? Why don't you make a case for Guy Eastman?
Who is Guy Eastman?
That's probably a better question.
Who is Guy Eastman? Guy Eastman is the, let's see here. How do we say this?
Do we want to address his name? Guy?
Well, we could.
What's wrong with his name?
Nothing. I mean, I don't know.
It's not his fault. And I have a ton of respect for his dad.
Well,
but I'm just saying.
He's definitely
He's the guy.
He's
the guy.
Oh, maybe that was the deal. It was the guy.
The guy.
That's probably his official name.
They dropped the.
Yeah.
The guy.
Who's this guy?
Guy's his middle name.
Who's this guy? He's the guy.
The Guy Eastman.
Okay, I get that now. Never mind. Proceed.
Yeah, he's no Guy Fieri by any means, who nobody wants to watch.
He was wearing a quick side note. He was wearing a Kuyu. No, I'm talking about Guy Fieri. He was wearing a Kuyu shirt. So, high-end outdoor gear, camouflage.
Yeah.
He was on like Dan Patrick or Rich Eisen or one of those shows, the DA show, one of the sport like mainstream sports shows, and he actually gave a shout out to Kuyu. He's like, yeah, because it was during the Super Bowl, and he was doing the media tour, and he was like, yeah, I'm up in, because somebody's like, oh, you're wearing camouflage, and which was totally,
That makes sense for Q to reach out if they heard he was going on a sports show.
Well, yeah, I mean, so
considering
I'm just curious
ownership's
to
previous
I'm just
occupation.
wondering if if Guy Fieri, dabbles in hunting, which would be totally cool. I'd have some respect for
Well,
him.
a lot of chefs do, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, so
He's
I digress. So we got Guy Eastman and Michael Waddell. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to sidetrack you.
No,
Oh,
you're
no.
fine. I don't know where I'm at anymore. But Michael,
It doesn't take much.
Michael Waddell, number 4 seed, Guy Eastman. All right, so here's the deal. Waddell has definitely done in my opinion, a better job of marketing himself. Would you agree?
Totally.
So, especially to his customer base, his client base. Yeah, to the south. I mean, he's got some turkey calling championships underneath his belt, right?
Yep.
Right? He's that southern old shucks, good boy thing going on, which people love.
Some
Myself included.
left-wing
good old
celebrity
boy.
call-out thing going
What
on
did I say,
too.
old boy?
You just said good boy. I think
Good
it's
boy.
Good old boy.
Good old boy. Yeah, I probably did.
Good boy. And that's
He's
creepy.
a good boy. Come here, good boy. Old Mosley. And obviously, he's got the bone collector, the Brotherhood. That's huge.
That's huge.
Huge.
That's like you walk into an archery shop
You-
or Cabela's or Bass
you gotta
Pro,
try,
and
you gotta take the other
everything
guys
is-
out of it though. It's hard to though, because
dude,
it's
you could
just
take the other
Waddell.
guys out of it, and it would still be that huge.
Okay. You might
But
be
you
able
think
to.
T-Bone's selling?
He's doing well for himself. You know how many can cookers it takes to pay for a
Feed him?
house? To pay for a house?
Oh,
Okay, well, 100.
100?
100 can cookers.
Okay, make your point here.
Yeah, all right.
We're limping along. To
I know
the,
we
to
are.
the
So he's okay. Waddell, deceptively smart. He he's a redneck. I love him for that. Guy coming in at 13th seed though, he speaks to me personally, but I don't think he does.
Let's talk about Guy
to the
Eastman real
masses.
quick. So he's primarily a Western hunter.
Yes.
He does so his dad started Eastman's Hunting Journal, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Which is a
Confirmation.
magazine, which is a magazine, and they started the TV show. But it's very informative. If you are at all interested into Western hunting at
And
all,
the magazine.
yeah, totally. And I'm talking about the
Magazine's big, too.
magazine is huge. Like
Yeah.
the magazine, here's the thing. And I'll let you guys pick up after this, but I would say as far as like we're talking about impact to industry or impact to the sport. I'm not sure if there is a more. Granted, it's a little bit different with the internet now, but still, I'm not sure there was a bigger piece of information, like a stronger piece of information that you could get your hands on than the Eastman Hunting Journal. When you looked at the back of the magazine and they talked about which zones and which units to apply for in each state,
Yeah.
that was never done before. Like basically, they took all of their experience and they said, hey, if you're going to Arizona and you want to hunt elk, and you want to hunt elk with a bow, and this is the time of year you want to go, and this is how much money you want to spend, this is how much time you want to, like how many years you want to invest into getting a tag, these are your best bets. Like that
Yeah.
was never put together before, so that was impressive.
And he certainly helping continue that legacy going
Totally.
forward today.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't, his dad was the founder of the magazine. He's-
Right. I'd say Guy took it to the next level for
Mhm.
sure. So, that being said,
It's tough. This is a close game. This is close.
Yeah. It's hard to argue Eastman's as far as their impact in the industry.
this game
outdoors,
is this
Not
game
just
is-
bow hunting, but hunting in general.
Yeah.
I mean, and from bow hunting perspective, pretty huge as well. And Waddell's name's everywhere with Bone Collector and everything.
Two completely different styles of game, right? We got one like run and gun. I'm running the floor as fast as we can. We are out. We're getting the ball out and up the court. Lots of fast breaks. We're pushing it. I mean, we're barely into the shot clock and we're getting a shot off. versus slow it down, walk the ball up the court. Let's run our offense. We're going to run it. We're going to touch the ball, 9 times before we take a shot. That's the type of game this is. I want to put my vote in right now. Michael Waddell moves on. John?
Man, I think all things considered, even though my passion is for more of the Western stuff, yeah, Waddell's gonna.
He's
Wad-
gonna move.
Yeah, he's gonna win by 15.
15?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 spot.
I didn't think that was as close to the game.
Yeah, it was. Even though Bone Collector, 227,000. Eastman Hunting Journal, 55. That being said, those guys really aren't social media type guys, though.
They don't put a lot of effort into it.
They're not. Yeah, they're working hard.
That's a great picture.
If I were to vote based on who I'd rather watch, in terms of an entertainment value, I think Waddell wins out. But I think I got to give the slight edge to Eastman in terms of impact on the industry.
2-1.
If that's what we're looking at.
Okay, with a little bit of debate, Michael Waddell moves on. The cool thing with
Thanks, Dave.
Waddell, I think the one thing with Waddell is the fact that he was like the first guy you watched and you thought to yourself, I don't feel like I'm watching a production. I don't feel like everything is forced and like there's some script and like I got to get my product plugs. Like the dude, and I've heard this from people that know him kind of off camera. They're like, he is the same guy. Like he is the nicest guy. If you run into him and you're at a gas station and you're checking in your buck and it's a 100-inch 6-pointer in Alabama, he'll come up to you and be over the moon excited for you, and he's never met you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's definitely
yeah, I mean that's
down home American type value system, and yeah.
Okay, Bone Collector moves on. Moving on, we got what do we got? We got a 5-12 matchup, which is generally an upset. Nader, who we got?
So we got the Drurys, Mark and Terry from Drury Outdoors, and Ralph and Vicky from the Choice and Archer's Choice shows.
Right. Minnesotans.
Strong accent.
Ralph and Vicky, they talk like they're from the Northwest and from the Midwest, and they are because they go up there to Manitoba sometimes. They go north of
That's right.
north of Minnesota, and they go up there. But sometimes they're just fishing in Lake of the Woods. Sometimes they do that.
And speaking of down to earth, like no,
No, I know.
no trumping up your personality for production value.
I don't
Ralph and Vicky
think
fit
so.
that mold
I mean,
too, I think that's my impression.
at least
anyway.
not to start with. I don't think so. Like they seem like really good salt of the earth people. They really do.
Yep.
I mean, I would agree with you there. They're grinders. They're grinders.
Yeah.
I'd say production value, apples to apples, is I'd say they're equal. Ralph and Vicky to Mark and Terry Drury.
It's Mike and Terry.
Mike and Terry.
No, it's Mark.
Oh.
It's Mark. And Terry,
Just
his
testing
wife.
you. Just testing you.
Oh, wait. No, wait. It's like,
Also, Terry's a man.
oh,
So there's
Terry's a
that.
man. Oh, the bros. Sorry. My bad.
I'll tell you what I don't like about the Drury Outdoors lately is
Tell us.
like CNC metal cut dream season cutout thing that they got to set in front of the animal.
What?
So
I don't know what you're talking about.
on the dream
haven't watched
season
the whole-
on the dreams, yeah. Well, I haven't either. It's been a while, but
Okay.
this was a few years back. I'm sure they still do it. So the you guys know the Dream Season logo, which is basically just
Yes.
the name Dream Season with some antlers around it. Every time these they're now one thing we have to talk about with the Druries is the competition aspect because that's never been done before. So that's pretty cool. But what I'm talking about is like guy gets a deer down and like they carry around this metal like piece of art that says Dream Season and they set it in front of the animal. Like, hey, and when they're talking about they're recapping the hunt, they got this thing sitting in front. I'm thinking to myself, how how can you take yourself out of the moment more than to like think to yourself, I shot this animal and it was a really great moment, but wait, I know I'm doing this for a TV, and I know a lot of these people, like, it's a production, but, like, you have to pull out this, like, physical object that says Dream Season, and I got to
Yeah.
put it right in front. It's like, oh, my gosh, can we just, like, pull back the product placement just a little bit?
Yeah,
So that
it's
bugs me.
borderline disrespectful, I think, too.
Yeah, exactly. So
We don't need any more obtuse glorification
Yeah.
of the.
But so
grip
so
and
the
grin,
one
I
thing
guess.
so the one thing that the juries I think that they have going for them is that they came up with the whole competition aspect of things. Are you guys aware? I mean, like, do you guys know how that works?
Well,
You're
the
talking
Dream
about
Season premise.
Yeah,
where
you're-
Yeah.
it's
you're
different
talking about
teams.
The different teams, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so if anybody's listening and they don't know and they haven't, and most likely if you're listening to this show, you've probably watched outdoor television enough. You've run across the Dream Season jury guys, and you notice that they do a competition where folks go to different parts of the country and they have to, they go out and they're judged on, I think, like cinematography, and like if they do harvest an animal, like the shots on film and like how good that is and the recovery and all that stuff. So like that's never been done. That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, it takes a lot for, in my opinion, like if you want to advance, like we talked about the Uncharted thing right at the beginning of the show,
Mhm.
where like that was, in no way am I putting Uncharted and like the jury Dream Season kind of on the same plane. But what they did was, I give them props, and I think they're going to get some points. They're going to, let's say they elevate their 3-point percentage because they did something different. Your take?
It's different. I don't know if I like it though. Introducing
But do the
a
masses
highly
like it?
competitive aspect to hunting, I'm not sure I agree with. It's more of a personal endeavor, if you ask
Sure.
me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're out there doing it to try and kill a bigger buck than the next guy, or do something cooler than the next guy, that kind of detracts from the experience, in my opinion.
Okay. That's a good point. No, that's a good point.
I think where Ralph and Vicky might shine is the fact they do some stuff kind of more outside of the norm. They do a lot of northern type hunts, moose, caribou, that kind of stuff. Mark and Terry, albeit they put out a good show, they have some sweet property that they manage.
Oh, totally.
So there's some huge animals that are shot,
There's a
but
lot of huge animals that are passed
there's a lot of there's a
that
lot
you're
of
like,
like
you guys are crazy.
ginormous animals that are passed, and
Yeah.
we all have that in question. So when you have that ability to you have that property that produces those kind of critters that they worked hard to do, albeit it might not be that realistic, but I like, and I think consumers like the moose type hunting, outside of the norm of the whitetail stuff. Everybody does whitetail stuff, and for that, this game is close going into halftime.
Yeah. So what I will, I'm going to piggyback on that notion, and I will say that when I do watch the Archer's Choice stuff, like honestly, the hunting aspect of it, like when they're out hunting, like I don't think there's a whole lot that they're doing that's not been done. Like I'm not sure their cinematography is all that much better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, it probably isn't. If anything else, it's maybe on a little bit on the lower side. Here's what I'll say about Ralph and Vicky. When I feel like they really care about each other, which is pretty cool. Like when you get them together and like, Ralph is talking about Vicky's hunt or vice versa. Like I really feel like, dude, like they really, like, not to get too corny here, but they really love each other and
Yes.
they really care about like the other person succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
And when I compare that to the jury thing, it's like that aspect's completely, that's not even a variable in their show. And nor do they try to make it that way, obviously, I mean, it is a competition, but
Mm-hmm.
I think what Ralph and Vicky can bring to the table carries more weight with a bigger audience.
Family friendly for sure.
Totally.
Because their kids are involved in the show too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're chippy. It's like that friendly chippiness with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Mark and Terry could hug more often, it might be.
I wish they would.
Okay.
I don't
So,
even feel like they're
boy,
in the same state.
Jake, I'm feeling. You're kind of going towards Ralph and Vicky here.
All right, let's make a vote.
Ralph and Vicky.
Ralph.
Oh, it's a sweep.
Ralph skis.
All right, so we got our second upset here. Ralph and Vicky take
Ew.
out the Drury boys.
Oh, jeez.
So Archer's choice.
Maybe next year, fellers.
All right, so Ralph and Vicky, the husband and wife from up north. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our last oh no, we got two more left. Okay, so we got two
three
more
more.
left in the
Three more.
first round of the bracket. The second round will definitely move faster since we've kind of covered most of the, what everybody's about. So let's move to our is it so we
5, 6.
We got 6-11.
Tom Miranda,
Ooh.
Super Slam. I'm
Oh.
interested. I'm interested to get your guys' take on this. So
Oh.
we got Tom Miranda versus Hart. This is a tough one for me.
Is it? How do you pronounce that?
Heartland Bowhunter?
Heartland. Okay.
Fartland?
Heartland Bowhunter.
Heartland Bowhunter, Mike Hunsaker, and Sean Luchtel.
Oh man.
All right.
Mike's texting me right now. He's like, dude, you better,
6
you
seed?
better
Come
put us
on.
through.
Mike is thinking about Kansas
Freak-
City football and
freaking
Kansas
Mike.
City baseball right now. So they
jeez.
both are. But okay, so we got Tom Miranda, longtime legend of the sport, and I don't even want to call them newcomers anymore because they've been on the scene for a decade. Heartland Bowhunter, Mike Hunsaker and Sean Luchtel. So just so everybody knows who's listening, so Heartland Bowhunter has the higher seed. They're a 6 seed. Tom Miranda 11 seed. Tom Miranda 10 years ago, he would have been a pretty high seed.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, Tom is the only guy who has ever had an ESPN show. Do you guys? Could you verify? Or I mean, we don't have to verify it on this podcast, but he was on ESPN Outdoors.
Yep. Which pretty huge.
That's a
for-
big thing.
for as
That's
far
a
as
big deal.
Talking about shooting stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't think
but
ESPN would ever do anything like that right now. Do you guys?
No. Tom, I remember, like, before I even
Had pubic hair?
had, yes, yeah, circa last year. No. Fur Fishing Game.
Yeah.
You guys remember that
Yeah,
magazine?
for fishing game. Yeah,
Old-
for sure.
Tom?
Usually the painted, like
Yeah.
artsy cover. Yeah.
Tom had his old like trapping videos and stuff out there. But we can't look in the past because this is this year. This is game time.
Yeah,
so,
but we're also going to take into consideration what they've done for the industry and the sport.
sure, but not that much.
You're right.
Boy, Tom, some of the, as far as an end product to the consumer, Tom, love what you've done in the past. You had some pretty cool frontal shots on black-tailed deer as they were running to you on some recent shows. That was cool.
Did
he? He did.
Um,
Albeit, was there was some controversy there. I personally like the front shot, not running at a deer running 30 miles an hour.
Name a shot you haven't liked.
True. True. But Heartland, man, they have some awesome footage. Really good footage.
their production values, very good.
And their people value is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just some good dudes, right?
The one thing I had with the issue I had with Tom Miranda for so many years was when I watched him, I always felt like when he presented his show, and this is completely just like how I view him. Like I saw him on TV, and I'm like, hey, he how he's presenting himself as a host. It always felt so produced. Hi, I'm Tom Miranda. Thanks for joining me for Tom Miranda ESPN Outdoors. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so forced. And I just...
Dude, that was like spot on.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
That was good.
I can also do...
Oh, jeez.
No, I won't do it. So it was always a bit of a turnoff. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Is this the way you talk? to everybody?
Disingenuine.
Yeah, I
to
just-
some
You know
degree.
what? You
If it's
say
a-
that,
Yeah.
and that makes me think of some other shows. I mean, I remember like a red
Bring it in.
stag hunt he was on, and man, I thought he had like 3 or 4 opportunities at the same stag, And granted, this is purely subjective, but God, I'd be damned. I think that thing
You guys
was.
hear that owl?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Sorry
I
for
think it was-
our listeners, but we got an owl right outside the window who's piping off, so it's cool.
Anyhow, it kind of seemed canned. I'll be damned. There
You
is
hear
an
it?
owl out there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
he's
That's
pretty
cool.
close, too.
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh shit. Anyhow,
it's old Gertie. She's out there. She's piping in about Tom Miranda. is what
yeah,
she's doing.
she's
Yeah.
no,
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 no.
Heartland.
Anyhow, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so that being said, I do want to
Harlan
give.
moving on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Harlan.
Yeah.
Harlan's got some.
they're
bad
running away with this.
They're-
You
Surprised
can't-
they're a 6 seed.
You got to give Tom Miranda props, though. With archery tackle, he's killed all 29
He has.
game species in North America.
And he says that
With
he
a
did
bow and
on
arrow.
every show.
See, the other thing. See, this is a tough.
Have some humility, Tom.
The other thing with
Yes.
Heartland is and granted, like we do know the Heartland guys a little bit, so they're going to get a bit of a home field advantage here. But like I know that they have done, like they do they do all of their own editing, they do all of their own production. They're behind the camera. A lot of times, Mike's behind the camera, or Sean's behind the camera, or Rex, or Skylar. Like those
Mhm.
guys are all well versed in like everything. Plus, they can get out in front of the camera. That's a good show.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So,
And they
Um,
they do other things besides just,
yeah.
whitetail in the heartland, as their name suggests. I mean,
Sean just texted thumbs up. Tom just texted I hate you. So
Tom said, "Take me
Tom
out."
said,
Tom said, "Take me out of your
Yeah.
Rolodex."
"Jeez, great."
If anybody uses those.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly we have Jim Burnsworth and Teresa.
well, we got
Or we
Lien Tiffany at a 7 seed against Uncle Ted.
Sorry
first.
about that. Okay, so we got so number 10, Sweaty Uncle Teddy, the Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent.
Sweaty Uncle Teddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how he's in my phone. Sweaty Teddy. Ted Nugent versus Lien Tiffany. This is an interesting matchup because you have Ted Nugent, who is just a mouthpiece of whether you like him or not.
He's a
Of the
madman.
He is a madman of the outdoors.
Mystical flight of the arrow.
Yeah, flight of the arrow, the mystic flight of the arrow, the majestic.
Spirit of the wild.
Yeah, the backstrap missile. You know, the backstrap assassin versus Lien Tiffany. So I don't know, guys.
This is a matchup of two very flashy
This is a tough one.
offenses.
This is a tough one for me. This is a matchup neither one of them wanted to get coming out of the gates.
Mm.
Ted Nugent, he had his. This is a tough one. I'm not sure he was ever really a. I feel like Ted used his popularity as a singer to promote himself as an outdoorsman. Where Lien Tiffany did it organically, which as much as I hate that phrase, but they did. I
Me
mean,
too.
they were people from
Mhm.
I think also Minnesota or Iowa, and just grew their brand into what it is now, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, but Ted is a wizard, not only with his guitar, but he's a very good speaker.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
very,
his vocabulary.
Very well spoken.
Mhm.
Yeah. The problem is he has a reputation that's hard to
Well, he's
hard for people to get past.
he's kind of
he's polarizing.
Yeah,
you either love
he's-
him or you hate him.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
has pigeonholed himself in some regards. But that being said,
Which makes him like a kind of a Russell Westbrook type, like he's high motor, obviously plays above the rim.
he's scrappy.
He's
He's a spark plug.
he does not he has one speed, and that is
Full speed.
full speed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at with this, guys. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I really don't know.
You-
Lien Tiffany. I mean, okay, let's face it. Let's just put the cards on the table here.
Oh, you went Wisconsin on
I
us
did
there,
there.
eh?
Let's put them on the table.
Yeah.
Huh? Hey guys, how you
Yeah.
doing, everybody?
Here's the deal.
Tiffany brought a brand new
Child into this world.
and I'm sure it's a beautiful child.
It is.
Boy or girl?
I don't know.
They only have one.
I
figured
don't
they
know.
have two.
Also,
I'm pretty active on
Also, a lot of
Instagram.
mascara and lip gloss,
Well,
the outdoor
let's.
industry
Let's just face it. I mean, guys,
which is fine.
Thanks
nobody
to,
else is talking about this. It's time to address it. Okay. Then where else can we can we address it than a whiteboard in the upstairs
Yeah, over
of
cocktails.
a home in Eugene, Oregon, right? But no, let's. Okay, so outdoor television had been full of dudes in camo, right? Like middle-aged dudes in camo doing the same thing for so long.
Mhm.
Along came this beautiful woman, this blonde, beautiful woman, and she was shooting deer. She was shooting elk, pigs, whatever. Like, and she was getting in there. She was mixing it up, and
And
we've never
excited
seen
about it.
We had never seen that before.
Yeah.
And I will say this,
blew up.
Like it blew, it blew up. Yeah, absolutely, because
One would say they crushed it.
they did crush it.
Ah, Nate. you
Whammy.
Kindly leave. Kindly leave.
That's
That's all
a
I got.
nut kick right there. But you had what the cool thing was is like obviously like the male demographic was like, whoa, this is like a beautiful woman, like out there. It's cool. I can watch Outdoor Channel, and it's like a whole different element to the game. But you had,
Mhm.
your wife, like your kids, like daughters, sisters, like everybody could get, like women now could like feel like, hey, to your point, John, like I can wear mascara, I can look beautiful, I can go out there, I can still kill a deer, and like that was never done before. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
It's a good point.
as much as I love the Nuge, and I love what he stands for, and I love his outspokenness, like Lien Tiffany.
He can be a bad representation for the hunting industry too, though.
What's that?
I see he can be a negative
So, yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah,
to the
yeah,
hunting industry as well at
exactly.
times.
So,
So,
I mean, I know we have Lien Tiffany in the number 7 spot, but quite honestly, and Lee's an amazing shot. Like the dude has made on camera some phenomenal long range shots on animals, which is awesome.
Mhm.
But
and not afraid to show it either,
no, and he's
which
not.
most people won't do.
He's not. But like their fame, Tiffany, she was it. So my vote's for Tiffany and Lee, which is probably how it should have been, Tiffany and Lee. But you guys got any issues?
Nope. You can roll with that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people on Instagram ripping Ted Nugent off. Like there's 10 official quote unquote pages. And,
Nugent,
yeah.
comma Ted.
Yeah, everyone's there.
Does
Just
he
spam.
he have an actual account?
He does. 160 thou. Yeah.
Slightly under us again, but
Yeah.
all right,
Maybe
so
maybe next year.
our last
Nuge.
first round matchup is Jimmy Burnsworth, Field of Force, and versus Teresa Vale. So for those of you who do not know who Teresa Vale is, and quite honestly, I'm one of those people that I'm not like, I know of her and I know kind of what she's done a little bit, but I think you guys know, Nate, I know you've followed her a little bit closer than I have, but can you tell us who Teresa Vale is?
This is more recent research. For prep for the tournament. But so I've not seen.
Dude, listen.
I've
Okay,
not
let's
seen the show.
let's just get this. Like, you don't have to be
Come
embarrassed.
on,
Like, these are
jeez,
beautiful
Nate.
women that are like into our sport. It's not. It's not.
And
Whatever. We can be interested. It's totally
homepage.
fine. It's not uncommon. It's not unnormal. So
All right.
don't worry about it.
You don't have to justify your creepiness, is what we're trying to say. Okay, go ahead.
So Teresa Vale, former Miss Kentucky, Army veteran,
She was in the
National
Army?
Guardsman, all around like stereotype
Seems a bit more than just a quick Google search, but go ahead.
breaker. But it's well, more information came up on her than
Oddly
most.
enough.
He's reading it off a tattoo.
First pageant competitor to visibly show tattoos.
Oh,
as a
really?
matter of fact,
Dude, that's badass.
yeah. Also competed at Miss America, apparently.
Yeah.
So obviously she knows how to compete at a high level.
Yeah.
She shows up with her A game in the big moments. But Jim Burnworth, he's an imposing
Hold on a
opponent.
second. Hold on.
His
Let's go back to Teresa Vale. So, what did she do after she was Miss America and she joined the Army and all that stuff? Like, how does she fit into the outdoor landscape?
She got a show called Limitless. That's about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay.
Probably due to her pageant experience, is my guess. So Teresa Vale did ask to actually demonstrate her archery skill as part of the pageant competition, and they denied her request due to safety concerns.
Really? That's bullshit.
But
they don't know how good a shot
definitely,
she is.
yeah, avid archer and outdoors woman. So.
Okay, so Teresa Vale, all around woman, badass, archer, outdoors woman. Right. Brings us to Jimothy Burnsworth. There is still no S in his name. Burnworth. Jimothy Burnworth. Number 1 in our hearts. Number 9 on the board. But
everybody's very good friend.
Everybody's good friend. Yeah. So back tension release guy Jim Burnworth has many shows. He has had The Force. He's had what else he had? Western Extremes.
Yep.
He's had another one too. But again, another amazing shot, right? The guy's just like an amazing shot. He does a lot of Western hunting. He's ambassador, definitely ambassador for the sport of archery. He's done a lot of really cool things. He's interviewed a lot of really great people. He's done some cool things with his show that's kind of been off the beaten path, kind of on the in the vein of Uncharted, where he's done stuff with the military and like he's done some long distance shooting. What was his name? Ray Bunny, I think, was his co-host in The Force, who was a former military marksman, and so he had some really cool stuff. And Jim does a lot of really cool tech things, tech moments on Facebook Live and that sort of thing. He's got a really good social following. So this is a tough one because you have a traditional mouthpiece like Jim Burnworth, where it's a dude who loves to hunt and he does a lot of typical things that guys do, that like to hunt. And then you have a woman who was a gorgeous woman who was Miss Kentucky, who she competed in
Kansas.
Miss America. Miss Kansas, who Kentucky from the other one. But Miss Kansas, who competed in Miss America pageants, who's got tattoos, who wanted to do archery as a talent, right? And that catapulted her to where she is now. And so this is a tough one. This is a really tough one because you do have two very different styles of ball, right?
Well, there is one caveat, if you guys aren't aware. Potential recruitment violation in the camp of Miss Kansas.
Well, what?
Some accusations of illegal harvest of a grizzly bear. As I read it, there was a situation she was hunting grizzlies with an outfitter, made a shot on a bear, and then attempted a follow-up shot, not realizing it was on a different bear.
Oh, shit.
And then claims to have followed the poor advice of the guide and filled out tags incorrectly to basically legitimize both harvests. So
wow,
that's about to the extent that I know of it. But
So
this was
Teresa moves on.
several years ago. I'm not sure if any official charges have been
if it's a grizzly bear
come to fruition.
and there's multiple ones, and I'm close, and I shot, and they're running around,
It's self-defense.
coming towards me. Hey,
They all look alike, right?
give her the benefit of the doubt.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
that
believe this
being
was
said,
in British Columbia, but
Right.
I'm not
no,
totally sure. Before this was several years ago, before the recent ban. And
here's
all that.
here's what I will say about that. I think that's probably valid, and like I will also say that maybe half of this board has probably had some allegations of,
I think they all have.
they've all had some,
I don't know about that.
No, they all are.
I think half
Everyone.
is probably a better.
They all are.
Because you don't know which half I'm talking about. But
Slanderous.
Uh-huh. Regardless, okay. So here's my vote. Here's my vote. I'm gonna go Jim Burnsworth. I keep throwing that S in there. Burnworth. Jim Burnworth.
There's no S.
I know.
Jake.
Like, I'm gonna go with Jim Burnworth. He is. He has won this game on a sheer will.
Fundamentals. He's the Tim
Tim
Duncan.
Mr. Fundamental.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Does
B.
anybody want to go to see Jim Burnworth at the at the arena playing the game against Golden State? No, not necessarily.
Dude's a tall feller too. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
he's
I'm
tall.
sure he played some hoops in his day.
But he gets it done, right?
Mhm.
He gets it done, and
Either that or he hates when people ask him if he played basketball because he is so tall.
He does, by the way.
Does
what
he?
about his
Yeah,
son
good
Randy?
deal.
Yeah, Randy. I don't know if Randy plays ball or not.
Jim's also the first one I saw on TV rocking the horizontal quiver setup.
Yeah, right. That should be a whole its own
Yeah.
category.
Looks pretty rad on camera, but
Ooh.
I imagine that thing gets hung up all the damn time when he's walking around through brush and stuff.
Seal of
Seems-
force. All right, let's roll. So we got round 2 here. So round two.
It's a school night. We got to get this
Boom.
done.
Jim Shocky takes on Jimmy Burnsworth. This is the battle of the Jims, Jimothy's.
Jimothy's.
I feel like this is just this is one of those, like, ESPN builds it up like, hey, this is the battle of the gyms, like we've been working on this we've been building to this all season, and it's I don't know, like, what would be a good comparison? This is
North Carolina Duke.
no, not yet.
No?
No, because Jim Burnsworth, I hate to say it, is not either one of those.
Okay.
He is this is a
It's like Duke
UCLA.
and North
yeah,
Car-
okay.
NC State Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this is a battle of the NC States, right? So this is North Carolina versus NC State. And we both know who North Carolina is. It's Jim Shockey. They come in, and this is a rare, not a rare. This is a pretty typical. This is played in
Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Chapel Hill. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's played in Chapel Hill.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you. Thank you. Let's roll. So Jim Burnsworth here's the thing. Jim Burnsworth had a tough fucking go the first time, the first round of the matchup, because he went up against a juggernaut, Teresa Vale. And he came out, but he got tired and
What you did there.
Took
you
some
know.
blows.
took some blows. And he came out. He was feeling good, but the trip ended, and second round ended quickly for him. And
Goes to the underwear model.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Wasn't Jim Shockey a former
Underwear
male
model?
model for
What?
like Calvin Klein underwear?
No
We talked
way.
about that once before, yeah. Okay, so here this is an interesting matchup. We have Cam Haynes versus Lien Tiffany's The Crush, right? So you have a juggernaut in health and fitness and Western hunting versus the power couple, the original power couple, the king and queen of outdoor television, Lien Tiffany.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at this? Because I kind of know where I'm at. So
I think Cam's playing at a very high level right now. I do.
400,000 followers can't be wrong.
I think he, I think he's, albeit he does not have the show, he does command the attention of hundreds of thousands of outdoors women and men.
This is an interesting matchup because you have
It is. It's a
you have
tough one.
two very different demographics, right? You have like
Yeah.
the like the bro hood, right? Like
Yeah.
bro country,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like I'm gonna run 10 miles a day and I'm gonna lift weights and eat nothing but chicken and quinoa.
Lift,
And
run,
it-
shoot.
Yeah, right. And lift and shoot, right? Repeat. And then you have the Mr. and Mrs. of the hunting world, and they're
Do you think you
huge,
get-
dude. They're fucking huge, man. Lee and Tiffany.
Yeah, they got their their family, which is
Here-
awesome.
okay.
They have their shed dogs. That's big.
Here,
Shed hunting. That's huge.
Here's one. Okay, so it's late in the fourth quarter, and it's coming down to a couple of final possessions. Here's my pitch for Lee and Tiffany. You go to most most outdoor, and it doesn't even have to be hunting, necessarily a hunting family, but I go to an outdoor family, say they fish, they dabble in hunting, and in the hunting realm, whether it be, they shoot skeet, or, they go, they're upland hunters, or maybe they are whitetail hunters or whatever. But you go to most any outdoor family in the U.S., and I say, do you know who Lien Tiffany is?
Yeah,
Versus, do you know who Cam Hanes is?
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to that.
Depends on if you're west of the Rockies or not.
But even so, I think
you're
it's
right.
still going to
That's
be.
a fair point.
I think it's still going to be Lien Tiffany. That's okay. So I'm going to vote Lien Tiffany. Where are you guys at? You can definitely outvote me. You got 2 votes left.
Yeah, I think we can. I'm going Cam.
You know Cam?
Cam Hanes. Keep hammering.
Keep hammering.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
You're clouded by personal judgment. But go ahead.
No, I'm not. I
This
have
is
no
very-
ties. I have no ties to
Yeah.
Cam. I mean, albeit I text him and I call him and I send him notes and he never replies and all that
I
stuff.
cut out all the
but-
letters from the magazine. So
I take selfies
all right,
with
Nate,
his.
it's up to you. We got our
Yeah.
first kind of first controversy here.
This is
I'm
a
voting
tough
Lien
one.
Tiffany, and
Well,
I'm
here's
voting
my
Cameron
perspective.
Haynes.
I'm gonna vote Cam Hanes, but
Yeah.
it's because Cam Hanes is the one largely responsible for bringing Joe Rogan into the hunting industry, and that guy
It's badass.
has millions of followers,
Oh,
and he's
little segue there.
become a very good ambassador of our sport as well.
So you're
as
saying-
well as Cam's efforts on Capitol Hill
So you're
for
saying
policymakers as well.
Cam is bringing he's got a stronger 6th man.
Yes.
He's bringing
Network.
Joe Rogan.
He's got
off
a
the
lot
bench.
more depth
all
on his
about
team.
His bench is much deeper than Cam.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, I can't
Yeah.
argue with that.
Yep. You
Can't-
can't.
I
You
can't
can
argue
argue with that.
I can't argue with that. Cam's got a deep bench.
You can't.
He's got a deep bench.
Attaboy-nator. Yes.
We got a little Cinderella story
Huh?
here going on.
How about that?
Hammering.
Hammering.
Moving on.
All right.
Final 4.
Take a seat, Lien Tiffany. Enjoy your $1 million.
Your dreams were crushed.
All right.
Hey.
I see what you did there again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He doesn't even know he did it.
I did.
What do we got now? Eva Hartland.
Okay, this is a tough one. This one pulls at my
Oh, gosh,
my
this is
heart
tough.
strings. So
Oh, man.
Eva Shocky versus Heartland Bowhunter. Global icon. As we're talking about a global brand,
Eva.
by far Eva is
Yeah.
hands down a bigger brand than
Yeah.
Heartland Bowhunter.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who would I rather hang out with and have some beers with? Probably Heartland Bowhunter.
Yeah.
Okay, bigger impact on the sport. God, I hate to do this to these guys.
Eva.
I hate to do
Probably Eva.
this. Who bigger impact on the sport? Eva. My
I would
vote,
say-
Eva.
I would say Eva. I would say Eva has a bigger impact on the sport, but like, sit down, watch a show. Okay, I'm gonna watch a hunting show.
Who's got a better product?
Heartland Bowhunters?
Heartland Bowhunter's my vote
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because
agreed.
Eva's mostly social.
Who has?
Yeah, Heartland was the first show that I've seen anyway that really. But aside from like hunting DVDs,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of like week to week kind of episode format, to
Mhm.
put that much effort into picking your shots, cinematography,
Slow mo.
like lighting, yeah, just overall production value of their show. Heartland does it as good or better than anybody. But they unfortunately don't have much reach outside of the outdoor industry, I don't think, or those already in and around hunting.
I think from I know they do a lot of other things. It's really neither here nor there though, because it's not really applicable to this particular bracket, so it doesn't really matter. But I know that their production company is pretty big. I know they do a lot of things within the outdoor industry and outside the outdoor industry from a production standpoint, for commercials and that sort of thing. But
Gotcha.
this is tough.
Outdoor madness, dude. This is down. This might be an overtime game.
This is
I think
tough.
it's an overtime game.
This is a tough one because I feel like Eva's going to go on a lot of runs. Like she's going to come down and hit back-to-back threes, but Heartland is they're going to grind. They're going to get those ugly garbage baskets. They're going to get some steals on the inbounds, put them back in. Just those scrappy, just gritty, gutty plays that
And if Heartland was in another bracket,
let's face it, the arena is filled with Eva fans, right?
yeah.
Like every time she scores, every time she gets a steal, every time, there's an assist, place goes crazy. Okay, I'm going to cast my vote. As much as I really, really, and I, honestly, personally, like there's a lot of things that I owe to Heartland Bowhunters, that they're freaking great guys. Bracket don't lie, fellas. Bracket don't lie. I think on a standpoint from impact to the industry, I'm going to give this game to Eva. She's going to win a nail biter, for me personally. She has one name. You don't even need her last name.
True.
John?
Eva.
I'll vote with Eva.
Eva.
Yeah. I was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah,
Take
all
the
right,
pressure
all
off
right.
John.
Yeah, you
It,
thought
it
was
doesn't
coming.
matter.
Yeah, Eva. Yeah.
Eva's moving on. All right. So we got, on the other side of the bracket, we got the Bone Collector, Michael Waddell, Thunder Chicken, versus Archer's Choice, Ralph and Vicky.
See, it sucks for Heartland, because if they were in that bracket, they'd be moving to the Final Four.
I don't know. You think
Who is
that?
in what bracket?
Okay, so you're saying if Heartland was against Bone Collector or Archer's Choice, that they would move on?
I think so, but that's just me.
Probably right, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
hey,
product
that's how it
of
goes.
the
Yep.
seating.
Yep.
I only had 15
Okey-dokey.
minutes in between my lunch break, so it'd be a quick
Well, I think
quick bracket.
similar argument as the last matchup. It's hard to argue against Bone Collector's place, visibility wise and brand standpoint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With respect
The
to-
thing with Bone Collectors, like if you saw that logo, right? Like if you're even even if you're outside the outdoor industry, right? Say you're into motocross and you're into like extreme sports or whatever. If you saw the Bone Collector logo, right, with the rear rack and the the glowing green eyes on the inside, you would
Mhm.
stop and be like, "That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I want to check that out."
Yeah. They're one of the few logos that incorporate deer
Right.
antlers that is actually pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
besides the crave.
And soon to be something else, but yeah,
Yeah.
Teaser.
Right.
Teaser.
teaser. So I'm with you, Nate. Dude, Waddell. I mean, he's been around a long time, and I know like maybe his thing has gotten a little, like his game's a little played. I think going up against Ralph and Vicky, who I really, really like, I like their product, but if I'm going to sit down and I got a choice between Bone Collector or Archer's Choice, regardless of what they're hunting, I'm going to tune into Michael Waddell. I like his product. I think he's a better presenter. I think he's less polished, which makes him more relatable, and I think that moves
I think
him
that's his biggest strength. Yeah.
on. Yeah. John?
Yeah.
Rebuttal?
Yeah. All bone.
All Bone?
All bone. Bone skis.
All right.
All right.
So it moves on. Now we're getting into some
big hitters here.
All right, we got Final Four. Our Final Four of the 2018 Outdoor Madness bracket is Jim Shocky
First the bone.
versus the Bone Collector of Michael Waddell, 2 D's, 2 L's. That's our Western bracket. Our Eastern bracket is our 15 seed coming out of nowhere, coming out of the depths, coming out of Eugene, Springfield, Oregon. Cameron, Keep Hammering Haynes versus Eva Shocky, the queen of the outdoors, Eva Shocky. So we have so just to put this in perspective, we have a 1 seed on the On the western half, we have Jim Shocky, a 1 seed, the overall 1 seed, taking on the number 4 seed Michael Waddell. In the eastern half of the bracket, we have a 15 seed Cameron Keep Hammering Haynes taking on number 3 seed Eva Shocky. I mean, we do have the we do have a situation where we may have a Shocky versus Shocky play.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to not make that happen, but we'll see. Could be good. Could be good podcasting. So, all right, let's start with the. Actually, let's start with the Eastern bracket. So the lower seeding. So we'll take Cam Haynes versus Eva Shocky. What do you guys think?
Both are
Both of these have over 400,000 Instagram
huge.
followers.
Yeah.
Huge.
Freaking
following.
crazy.
A good,
on
probably
social.
more than half of which are not hunters.
True.
I would say on Eva's half, not on Cameron's half.
I don't
Yeah.
know. He's huge in the fitness industry, regardless if they hunt or
I
not.
bet most of those are hunters.
But-
on Cam's half.
I think Cam. Well, it's hard to argue because they're both bringing a lot of new hunters in as well, like adults that didn't grow up in hunting households. Cam
Right.
is bringing in a ton of people from the fitness aspect. Although I mean, Eva's very active on from the fitness level as well.
We can
but
both-
obviously
Yeah, she
she's
doesn't
bringing in a
she
ton
doesn't,
of
like,
a ton
post
of
that,
women.
promote it a whole bunch.
What's that? Fitness wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He follows her very closely. So
I mean, I'm trying to
Number
text
one
her
fan.
Right now. She won't.
she
won't
keeps
reply,
blocking
but-
my number. I don't know what that's all about. This is a juggernaut in social media. We have, I mean,
It's
almost
really what it boils down to,
right.
because neither of these folks really, obviously they don't have their own shows. It comes down to, it's a social media haymaker that they're exchanging.
All right, so we have our Eastern bracket is 2 social media giants. We have Eva Shocky with over 400,000 followers, and Cameron Haynes with also over 400,000.
I will say
followers,
this.
both of them.
I will say this. I think he works harder.
I think you're right. I think he does work harder.
Yeah.
He works harder for what he.
Talk about grassroots and all that. Eva does ride.
Not to say that
her
Eva has
daddy's
not worked
coattails
hard,
a little bit.
No.
but all things considered,
Her dad names.
if you look on
Her
since
dad name's on the other side of the
since
bracket.
we're
Yeah,
considering
and he has certainly helped her.
since we're considering
in her
social
ventures as
platforms,
well.
let's be honest here. It seems like, and that's just the way of the world. I'm not saying it's right, but females, attractive females, they post a couple pictures and their following is pretty strong. Not to take anything away from Eva, because she has been pretty integral in her, message to the hunting community and the community outside of hunting. She's done great things for the industry. But I'm just saying, Cam's a workhorse.
Mm-hmm.
He is a workhorse. I think he's worked pretty damn hard to get to where he's at. What do you guys have to say about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I will agree with you that.
Damn right you will.
I will agree with you that, Eva has had opportunities that Cameron has. Hello, Cameron.
He doesn't. Just so you know, he doesn't like.
He doesn't like Cameron?
He doesn't like it.
Well, then it's Cameron for the rest of the
He
show.
prefers Cam.
Hey, Cam.
Cam.
Hey, Camzy. Eva has had opportunities that Cam has created. If we're talking about, opportunities that we both see them on TV, we both see them in commercials. Like, obviously, she has had opportunities that have been presented to her because of, her pedigree and, what her dad has done for her.
Mm-hmm.
Cam has done a lot of things everything on his own, from what I know. I will say that the one caveat that I will say that Eva, when we look at impact to the sport, Eva has done tremendous. She has moved mountains for women in the sport that I don't think Cameron can compete with. I'm not saying that she's going to win this game because of that, but it's it's pretty. It's significant. It is significant. Like she's done things regardless of how she got there. Like what she's done with her opportunity has been amazing for the sport. So
Yeah, she could have just gone out and made a TV show and hung her hat on the Shocky name and her looks.
right, I'm with you guys. Like I'm with you guys as far as cams, and you guys can definitely like override me on this. For the standpoint of, I feel like for me, impact on the sport and like the future of the sport, I feel she's won this matchup. Cameron has had a Cinderella run, going from a 15 seed, beating Will Primos, beating Lien Tiffany. She got up against Eva, who just was, just superior in as far as impact on the sport. So I'm not saying she's going to move on because that's up to you guys at this point, but my vote is for Eva on this. So put it on. Oh, ended it quickly.
Well, I guess my
Quickly.
I guess my vote, the people's vote.
Listen.
does not matter
Last
at this point.
year in Outdoor Madness,
there was a
change. There was a
I
swing.
did sway.
So,
I did.
So
didn't I?
make your
Bum,
pitch.
bum, bum, bum.
Make your pitch for Cam.
Final decision.
Cam. No. No pitch. The people have spoken. My vote's for Cam. However, at this point, it's moot. And Eva moves on.
All right, Cam, I salute you. Fucking great job. She's Eva Thor now.
Eva Thor?
Yeah, because she beat the hammer.
Oh.
Okay, so we have got our competitor in the eastern half of the bracket. It is Eva Thor, which is she beat Cameron Haynes. Yep. So Eva Shocky is moved on to the championship round, and she's awaiting the winner of Jim Shocky, her father of all things, the gray-haired silver fox of him, of them all, versus Michael. Dude, this is a freaking heavyweight. This is a heavyweight matchup. Jim Shocky versus Michael Waddell. Who's got the better product? Who has made a bigger impact in the industry? Who's moving on to the championship round?
Dude.
I'll say first.
Okay,
go ahead,
Shocky versus Bone.
Well, obviously a very tough matchup. Shocky's got the best uniform of all the competitors. Much like the Oregon Ducks, a lot of time and effort spent in the uniform. Looks good.
About?
Jim Shocky, cowboy hat, red bandana,
no guff.
very unique. Okay, so here's my pitch. Jim Shocky is like the quintessential hunter, but in terms of public perception, I think Michael Waddell is way more relatable to the vast majority of the everyman that gets out in the woods on the weekends, or as much as they can, when time permits. Jim Shocky does a ton of, he's a world beater. There's no doubt about it.
International.
Dude literally goes everywhere, all around the world, and whacks game. And
love it. This guy goes everywhere and whacks game.
Yeah, but the show's cool too because it highlights the local traditions and the cultures and everything in the various places he goes outside of the North America. And so for that, I really enjoy watching his show. But I think he's somewhat disconnected from the vast majority of everyday hunters out there. Like, no one can afford to go to Stan and whack sheep species that most people have never heard of.
I'm out. I'm good. Nate wins.
And I love watching that show, but it's just a pipe dream for most people. So it's it's cool that somebody. It's nice to see that he gets to go do
whacking
that.
a muskrat that I don't even know it existed.
Half the stuff he talks about on his Crossman Small Game series, you've never even heard of.
You're voting for Shocky.
No.
No, he's
I'm
Oh,
voting.
oh,
I'm
wow.
voting for
Twister.
Michael Waddell because he's vastly more relatable to the everyman, to the weekend warrior.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Well, it is. That's part of it.
No,
No.
a little
And
bit.
I
but
think Waddell has more impact as far as continuing the tradition of hunting. In
But
terms of a public
let's
perception,
get back
I guess.
to square one on what the Outdoor Madness is about, and that's final product, right?
No,
Well, it's part
it's
of
impact to hunting.
No,
Impact
the
in
hunting
hunting.
industry.
It's an overall product.
Overall product.
product.
And
Which
that's where-
means
that's
your
where-
impact in hunting. It means your product that you're putting out in,
Sure,
is in a
sure.
media standpoint.
Sure,
And
Sure.
whatever number 3 is
sure, yeah,
at this point.
and albeit Waddell, like you said, might be more relatable. All things considered, though, the final product. I think you have to look at it as also in terms of inspiration. A hunter, myself being one, I am more inspired after watching Shocky's show, opposed to Bone Collector. Therefore, my vote goes to
Inspired
Shocky.
how? Like, do you?
That's your whole.
Does that give you any?
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of,
done. I'm done.
Does that give you any kind of aspiration that you can do?
show
I like your show a lot.
better. It's more inspiring.
I like watching a show, but I am fully aware that I will not be able to do 9 out of every 10 hunts that guy does.
I
It's
know,
not
you're-
physically.
you're
It's
short-
not
Hey,
even
you're
remotely
shortchanging yourself,
possible
Nate.
for me to do that.
You're shortchanging your shelf. Your shelf, dear.
Your shelf.
Your shelf.
Welcome to the rock.
Anyway.
Okay.
Unless I win the
Okay,
lottery.
Shocky, +1.
All right, we got a vote for Jim Shocky. John, he voted for Jim Shocky, and Nate, he's voting for the Bone Collector, Michael Waddell. So I guess that leaves the final decision up
Yeah,
to
there
Jake.
you
I think
go.
I think
There you go.
Waddell's going to bring more.
Nate, you're
people-
done.
New people
it's Jake.
into hunting.
Stop it. Stop it.
You're talking.
No.
You're talking over the moderator.
No.
All right, so I take both of your arguments in consideration. While I do believe that Jim's products on TV are superior to Waddell's. I believe Jim. I believe. Dude, Uncharted is phenomenal.
It
Like
is.
again, like I stated
No
at the beginning,
question.
what I stated at the beginning of the episode is like Uncharted. That's a show that out of everybody on this board, I will watch that show over anything else. And quite honestly, I will probably not watch most of anything else. And a lot of that's a product of just being in the industry and that sort of thing. But Uncharted is amazing. It is groundbreaking. First of all, it's an hour long. And most hunting shows, I don't remember another hunting show that has been hunting, fishing show, outdoor show that has been an hour long, period. So,
Mhm.
like, that's amazing. And, like, it's something that my wife and I sat down to and watched, and she was totally into it. And she likes to hunt and fish and that sort of thing, too. But when it comes to our TV viewing options, usually a hunting show on a Friday night wasn't up there. But Uncharted, if that was on, she'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I could get into that.
There's some
right?
travel aspect. And
Yeah,
that kind
totally,
of stuff
totally.
to it.
So that
You know.
all that being said, Michael Waddell.
Erroneous.
Michael
Erroneous.
Waddell is
How does Waddell beat Shocky? Jim
I think
of all.
I completely agree.
Ugh.
I could agree with Nate. Like he is I could meet him down at the 7-Eleven. I could meet him at the Bailey Hill Market. I'd be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Be like, "Hey, you guys get out there, man. You shoot some turkeys, man. Turkey season's coming up. You know, what do you think?" And
Yeah.
he is the guy I would meet at like Bimart or Walmart, or getting our tags. And
Mhm.
while I don't enjoy his show as much anymore, I believe what he has done for the industry and what he's done for the way I look at it is like Jim Shocky's Uncharted is a very high end painting, right?
Yeah.
Like you go into you have to go see that at a high end art museum or like a showing, right?
Mhm. It's like watching like MTV's Cribs or what's the hell's that show where the British guy and he's like the Rich and Famous show?
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Lost
It's like
Tales of
it's like the
Richard-
everyman watching a show like that, and like, man, that's an awesome house.
I'll
It's
never
like
have
watching
that.
Jim Shocky. It's like, man, that'd be an awesome hunt to go on. Too bad I will never ever be able
Right.
to do that.
Right.
I'm glad that guy gets to do it, and he's got tons of money to
Yeah, whatever.
to drag some cameras
Whatever.
along with it.
Okay, Nate.
This
you-
is a beatdown, but
Yeah. I
hey,
don't know. I think it's.
I'm gonna go.
This is
Yeah.
kind of just it's reminiscent of last year when we voted for Trout over Steelhead, and John almost fell over out of his chair, passed out.
Trout.
Passed out Trout. All right, boys. Championship. We got the Bone Collector versus Eva Thor.
Eva Thor.
Eva Thor.
Dude,
She-
Team Waddell
John
is in the locker room pregame thinking, how the hell did we get here?
I don't think so. He's a 4 seed, dude.
No,
He's a 4
no.
seed. He's
Coach
a 4.
is in there thinking, guys, no matter what happens, we've had a great season. It's one of those speeches.
He's like, we've had a good run.
Hey, I'm super
Just-
proud of you for whatever
Whatever
you've done.
happens at the end
You've
of this
accomplished
game.
so much. Just go out there and have fun.
No, it's not like he's Wichita.
Just
State.
go out there and have fun. You know, I mean,
No
I'm
way, dude. This is
super proud of
this
you.
is a Kentucky versus
No.
Duke. It really is.
No.
Yes, you have
Ah.
a seasoned
No.
you have a historied franchise versus.
This is a Michigan State versus Duke.
I'll take that's still
Tom
Michigan
Izzo?
State this year
No.
versus Duke.
They're hard.
Okay.
They're tough out.
Michigan.
Well, this year.
Did they already lose?
Not so much this year. They've already lost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Quickly.
Michigan State versus Duke this year.
Let's all just consider. Let's just talk this. Let's just.
Waddell.
This is definitely Kentucky, right? This is
Yeah, Kentucky or Duke.
and this is our. Yeah, this is definitely.
Seton Hall.
Dude, no, this is Duke.
That's a Seton Hall right there.
This is a Duke if I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Waddell is Duke.
Dude,
Yes, he is. because-
Krzyzewski? No way.
Yes, he is.
No.
Yes.
No.
Certainly North Carolina.
I give North Carolina.
All right.
But he doesn't have.
We can do North Carolina.
All right. Give him Bo
Waddell's
Ryan.
too
Give him Bo
free-spirited for Duke, right?
All right.
Yeah.
They can have Bo Ryan as the
Oh boy,
coach.
I feel like we. That's not good.
It's not.
Oh, jeez, what's happening?
Don't worry, it comes off.
What are you using there? All right, there you go.
Well, I'm a Jordan fan, so you know where I'm going to vote. All right,
Oh, damn you.
all right, boys. What do you think? This is a big matchup. This is tough. This could go either way.
Man.
I am looking at this board, thinking to myself, I'm really not. And we did a little bit of prep work, like we kind of talked through this a little bit before we turned on the recorder, and we said, like, okay, here's how we're gonna like talk about, like how we're going to discuss who's gonna, like the criteria of
We
who's gonna move
certainly
on.
didn't fill the bracket
But
out.
we didn't
ahead
fill
of
the
time.
bracket out. No, like, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not sure. Like these are powerhouses. Like if you took Michael Waddell wiped him out of history, right? Like he didn't exist. We probably would have progressed as a.
The world would not be
Well, no, like
as happy.
we would have progressed as a hunting market, right? We would have somebody would have filled his niche, right? Probably. Eva,
Yeah.
I don't like. Somebody probably would have come along. You apply that same aspect to her. Like somebody would have came along at some point, but I feel like the window or like the pool of people to fill that void is much smaller than him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but the thing that's a little bit unfair with Waddell is he has a bunch of role players underneath him, right? Like we're
Sure.
thinking Bone Collector
Right.
here, right? Like if you were to
But she's got her name. Her
Erase-
last name is.
yeah, but
she's got her
a one man
grandpa.
band.
Yeah, but she's
She's
got
a
her.
one man band.
Her last name is not
One
a one-man
man band.
One-man band.
Uh,
Her last name is not a one-man band.
yeah, but you look at her It's just her on her Instagram account. It's just her on Facebook.
It's just
Just her on my speed dial. But you look at Waddell. I mean, he's got some role players underneath him. You got T-Bone, Chris, what's his face? I don't even know what his name is. He's really
It's
good.
Nick
though.
Mudd.
Nick, that's right. He's real
good though.
He's a
He's real-
scrappy
yeah, he's
spark
real good, like,
plug
see?
of a
Yeah, he's
player.
good, see?
Super feisty, really physical guy.
Yeah, whatever. You can say what you want about T-Bone and Nick Mudd, but dude, Waddell is the moan collector. He would be right there on that last line without those guys. I guarantee you. I hate to say it, but you can plug in T-Bone and Nick Mudd with pretty much anybody else.
On the flip side, would Eva be there without Jim?
And
Yeah.
I would say the same for her.
I think she could stand alone.
She could, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I
she
don't know
wouldn't.
if she could have got there. She could have got there by herself, but I don't know if she would have. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like if it was Eva Johnson or Eva Smith, and she's like, I really love hunting. Like, I feel like she could have probably got to that line, but it would have taken her. Like we would have been in year like 4 or 5 before we got. You know what I'm saying? Like she definitely escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is a close
I have
game.
my vote.
This is a close game. Okay, put your name down. Put your vote down.
This isn't over. This is tight. This is tight. It's not overtime, but it's tight. Somebody hits a last minute bucket.
John Calipari versus who's North Carolina coach? It's right there. Roy Williams.
Somebody hits a last minute layup.
Okay, I got my vote. I got my vote. You got your vote?
Yeah.
All in
Go.
favor of. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Just let's go around the horn. Nate Bailey, give
Eva.
us your vote.
Shocky.
Eva Shocky.
Perfect, Eva.
Doesn't matter what I voted.
Doesn't. You're right.
I was going to vote for Eva too.
I knew it.
It's a sweep. Eva Shocky is our 2018 Outdoor
My,
Madness.
Has the world changed? Eva Thor.
Eva Thor.
Eva Thor.
She has Thor.
2018 Outdoor Madness personality winner.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty awesome, dudes. That's
Yeah,
pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
So
I didn't really see that coming. These are fun.
that's. I mean, listen. Like we were really. We didn't pull any punches. Like we didn't get together beforehand. Or like, hey, let's make a plan. Let's make sure that a woman, like one of the ladies wins this.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't discuss that at all. We had some big hitters. Her dad, Jim Shockey, Will Primos, Ted Nugent, Cameron Haynes, the Heartland guys. Like there's some really big shows out there that she beat out. So good for her. That's pretty awesome.
Yep. That being said, we do represent a pretty narrow demographic. I mean, we're all within a few years of each other and
Yeah, we
grew
do.
up with
I mean, so
similar upbringings, I guess. So
that's
I'd be curious to see what listener feedback is. That's where I'm getting getting to.
if anybody has an issue with any of this, any of the outcomes, in any part of the bracket, let us know, right?
Please and thank you.
Yeah, let us know. So we again, this version of our podcast is available on YouTube. So check us out, and you can see the board. You can see who was paired against who, and who was who won in each outcome. And if you have comments, or if you have additions like who people you'd like to see in a future bracket, like so we were talking about doing this for fishing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do it for like the NFL draft, right?
Yeah, that'd
Something
be fun.
like that. So
Yeah.
we'll do it.
We'll definitely do something similar
do it
for the fishing side. That will be equally
Mike
contentious.
Iaconelli,
Oh,
Kevin Van Dam, and all the rest of the crew, right?
Roland Martin.
Roland, and who's the dude with the Tennessee hat?
Mr. Blooper.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, that
Gone
guy.
fishing with Bill Dance today.
Bill Dance, yeah, hell
Come
yeah.
on,
So-
guys. Jeez.
All right,
Criminy.
so we've already taken up enough of your time, but as always, thank you so much. If you can, please leave. Go to iTunes. Leave a comment and rate us. And whether it's 1 star or 5 stars, we really appreciate it. Honestly, that the ratings mean all the difference in the world. So
Hopefully the latter, though.
yeah, please. We try to be a little bit different than everything else that's out there, and I would guess that you're probably not going to see a whole lot of March Madness brackets related to outdoor personalities. So if you like what you heard, tell a friend, rate us, and give us a review. And again, we just appreciate everything you guys do for us. So thanks again, and we'll look forward to 2019 Outdoor Madness, and we'll come up with a different format. Yeah, Nate Bailey, John Eastburn.
Thanks for
Thanks,
bearing with
guys.
us.
All right.